Ekip tamam. We are about to start within a minute. We are waiting for our former Prime Minister, Mr. Binali Yıldırım. He's Aksakal. Actually, he's the leader of the Council of Elders of the Organization of Turkic States. So it's our duty to wait for the Aksakal.
In our tradition, Aksakals, we
Exactly,
need to wait.
geldin. Yes, so we can start. Well, distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this very timely, high-level and significant panel titled Organization of Turkic States, a Unique Cooperation Model. As the global order faces unprecedented levels of fragmentation, instability and competition, the need for constructive, inclusive, and sustainable models for regional cooperation has never been greater than now. The Organization of Turkic States, which evolved from a shared linguistic, historical, and cultural heritage of our peoples, is now emerging as a forward-looking platform for strategic collaboration and regional cooperation. Rooted in the timeless motto of İsmail Bey Gaspıralı, a late 19th, early 20th century Crimean Tatar Turkic intellectual, unity in language, thought, and deed, the Organization of Turkic States offers a very promising framework for regional integration that also resonates far beyond its geography. Throughout 1990s, our governments, civil society, and peoples searched for the integration models to achieve a better interconnectivity throughout our region. With growing economic dynamism, digital transformation, and regional connectivity projects, such as the Middle Corridor Initiative, the Turkic world is positioning itself as a key contributor to global peace, prosperity, and resilience. This panel aims to explore the depth and future trajectory of this cooperation, its practical impact on our societies, and the vision it offers for the 21st century. I am delighted to be joined today by a distinguished panel of leaders, thinkers, career diplomats, politicians, whose insights will illuminate the evolving role of the Organization of Turkic States in the future. So we have 6 speakers. Actually, we are starting a little bit late. That's why I'm bypassing the biographies of our panelists, but you know them quite well, I assume. Their biographies are full of bureaucratic and political success, and we are lucky to have them as the architects and practitioners of the integration of the Turkic states. So I would like to give the first speech floor to His Excellency Kuvanışbek Ömüraliyev, Ambassador, General Secretary, Secretary General of the Organization of Turkic States. There are several questions I prepared for this panel, but these questions are for agitating the panelists. So you are all welcome to contribute your views on other topics of immense importance from your point of view. Sir, His Excellency Kuvanışbek Kasımovic, what are the recent practical cooperation initiatives of Organization of Turkic States and other Turkic cooperation organizations that bring the Turkic people closer, and what are the political, economic, and regional ramifications of these initiatives, and how can they contribute to the strengthening of regional development frameworks among the member states? Thank you. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon to everyone, His Excellencies, distinguished participants, and ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by underlining one simple truth. The Organization of Turkic States is no longer an emerging platform. It is now a robust, well-established mechanism forged by collective strategy will of our states, rooted in shared history and driven by a common vision for the future. In a world shaken by fragmentation and the geopolitical uncertainty, the Turkic world stands united not just by language and the culture, but by concrete cooperation and the action. Since our funding, especially following our transformation into a full-fledged international organization in 2021 in Istanbul, in our Istanbul summit, the OTS has become a target-oriented platform implementing real projects that meet with evolving needs of our member and the observer states. In just the past year, our fields of cooperation have expanded to over 35 areas, from trade and the transport to artificial intelligence and the space. This shows not only growth, but also momentum. Let me begin with our initiatives that are directly our people's closer in their everyday lives. First, one of the economic front, the OTS established a wide economic network among our relevant ministers, agencies, and institutions through numerous cooperation mechanisms. Just I would like to give a brief information. The Turkic region, home of 170 million people, and the covering 4.5 million square kilometers, offers tremendous opportunities for trade and investment. In 2024, our combined GDP exceeds $2.1 trillion, making his large and growing market. According to the result of also 2024, OTS countries' combined trade turnover was $1.1 trillion. However, intertrade between OTS member states currently account only 7%, is mean $58 billion trade turnover. But if you look back, if a few years ago it was 5%, and another 5 years ago it was just 3%. So encouraging growth. Our goal now is to increase in this share to 10% in quickly as possible in the near future. The Turkic Investment Fund, which became recently operational, is our first joint financial institution. It is designed to find strategic infrastructure, small, medium enterprises development, and innovation projects. Our goal is to move from trade facilitation to investment generation. We have established also Turkic Chamber of Commerce and Industry to deepen business ties, improve our trade facility committee to address barriers and streamline regulations, and signed the Digital Economy Partnership Agreement in last November in Bishkek Summit to accelerate digital trade and the technological collaboration across our member states. We are also working on a framework agreement free trade in service and investment, and the well-establishing mechanism among the central banks of our member state, also which was MOU signed during Bishkek Summit last November, is encourage trade in the national currencies, which will be reduce dependency on third countries and the increased resilience. Second, on connectivity and the regional development, the OTS has intensified work on middle corridor. Later, I hope our colleagues, Minister of Kazakhstan, will pay attention for middle corridor issue. The shortest and the increasingly most viable road between Asia and Europe. Our countries are modernizing infrastructure, harmonizing transit regulation, and implementing digital tools like the e-permit, ECMR, e-tier, which is aimed at reducing delays and boosting competitiveness. Third, in the field of culture education and the people-to-people connectivity, the Turkic Universities Union, Turkinip is short name, and the efforts toward the common Turkic alphabet are enhancing academic mobility and the cultural unity. Through projects the Tabaruk Ziyarat, the Turkic Silk Road, and the Turkic World Tourism Capitals initiatives, We are revitalizing ancient roads to foster intercultural dialogue, drive sustainable tourism, and unlock new economic pathways across the Turkic region. Our affiliated organization established to complement of our efforts, including Turksoy, is for cultural cooperation, Türkpa for parliamentary ties, Turkic Academy for scientists and education cooperation, Turkic Culture and the Heritage Foundation for heritage promotion. Fourth, we are responding collectively to regional challenges, from energy security to environment threats. The newly establishing Drought Prevention Institute in Budapest and the Turkic Green Finance Council are example of how we are embedding sustainability into our development strategies. By launching the civil protect mechanism, we are pooling our resources and expertise to respond swiftly to natural disaster and the emergencies, bolstering regional resilience and embodying the solidarity of our member states in times of crisis. In terms of health cooperation, strengthening collaboration in digital healthcare, public health, pandemic preparedness, and the medical tourism is firmly in our agenda. Just a few days ago in Astana, we convened meeting our health ministers to advance these shared priorities. Fifth, we have also enhanced visibility internationally. Our Turkic Week in last year in Geneva, we make all together with our partners high-level meetings in New York, Vienna, Washington, and Geneva, and the growing cooperation with UN agencies, OECD, Organization Islamic Cooperation, ECO, and the ASEAN, and the other show that the OTS is becoming increasingly relevant voice in global affairs. In conclusion, in practical initiatives we are implementing are not symbolic, they are strategic, scalable, and impactful. They are making the Turkic world more integrated economically, more connected physically, more digitally enabled, and more globally visible. In doing so, we are not only building solidarity among our people, we are also shaping a more resilient, self-reliant, and a forward-looking regional development framework. And that, I believe, the real power of Turkic cooperation in the 21st century. Together, we are not just preserving our legacy, we are building our common future. So, our motto is "Birlikte güçlüyüz," we are together stronger. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary General, your legitimacy will be definitely the one which shows the transformation of the organization into a full-fledged international organization, and also launching new topics, more than 24 new topics of integration. Thank you for your collaboration and contribution. The second word goes to former Prime Minister of Turkey and Chairman of the Council of Elders of the Organization of Turkic States, Mr. Binali Yıldırım. My agitating question is the following. Is unity in language, thought, and deeds, the famous motto of the Turkic Crimean Tatar intellectual İsmail Bey Gaspıralı of the late 19th century, still a valid and attainable goal for the Turkic states regarding the common Turkic alphabet, which the Turkic World Common Alphabet Commission has agreed upon last September? What are the future prospects for its adoption across the Turkic world? Thank you.
Evet, teşekkür ediyorum. Rahmet. Ben konuşmayı Türkçe yapacağım. Türk dünyasını konuşuyoruz. Türk dünyasının dününü, bugününü, geleceğini konuşuyoruz. İnşallah tercüme ihtiyacı vardır. Aslında
Simultane var efendim.
Türk dünyasının asıl problemini iletişimde yaşıyoruz. Köklerimiz bir, geçmişimiz bir, geleceğimiz bir ama başka diller vasıtasıyla iletişim kurmak gibi bir gariplik var, bir tuhaflık var. İşte asıl çalışmamız gereken şey bu. Onun için biz bu ortak alfabe işini çok önemsedik. Ve İstanbul Zirvesi'nden sonra, 21'den sonra Bursa'da yaptığımız bir toplantıda bu konuda bir prensip kararı aldık. O karar neydi? Yani 8 tane Türk Devletleri Teşkilatı üyesi ülke var. 170 milyon nüfusa tekabül ediyor. Ama başka ülkelerde yaşayan özerk yapılar vesaire kattığımız zaman 300 milyonluk bir topluluktan bahsediyoruz. Dolayısıyla burada bir sorunumuz var. Birbirimizle anlaşmamız, kaynaşmamız, iletişimimizi sağlıklı yapmamız gerekiyor. İsmail Bey Gaspıralı'nın sözünü siz de ifade ettiniz. Aslında 1850'lerden sonra 1850-1914 yılları arasında yaşamış Gaspıralı hedefi koymuş. Dilde, fikirde, işte birlik. İşte yani hepimiz Türk'üz, köklerimiz bir. Niye hala bunu konuşuyoruz? Bunun detaylarına çok girsek herhalde bugün buradan çıkamayız. Ama şu kadarını söyleyeyim. Bu geçtiğimiz yüzyılın ilk çeyreğinde Sovyet sistemiyle beraber bugünkü bağımsız Türk devletleri o sistem içinde yer aldı ve 76 yıl boyunca bağımsızlıklarından uzak kaldı. Bu sırada tabii bu emperyal düşünce ilk önce dili değiştirdi. Niye değiştirdi? Çünkü Türkiye'nin diliyle Türk devletlerinin dili aynı olursa burada iletişim olur ve bu da o günkü Sovyet sistemine zarar verir. Oradaki hedefleri bozar diye düşünülerek dil değişikliğine gidildi ve 76 yıl boyunca bir başka alfabe ile yola devam edildi. Bu da tabii zaten dil birliği açısından, kültür birliği açısından, ortak tarih şuuru açısından yapılabilecek en büyük kötülüktü Türk dünyasında. Neyse ki 90'lı yılların sonunda Sovyet sistemi dağılınca Türk devletleri birer birer bağımsız hale geldiler ve artık kendi değerlerine yönelmeye başladılar. Bu konuda en hızlı hareket eden Azerbaycan olmuştur. Hemen bağımsızlıktan sonra alfabeyi değiştirmiş ve o günden bugüne çok büyük bir ilerleme kaydetmiştir. Ancak yeterli mi? Yetmez. Bütün Türk devletlerinin aynı noktaya gelmesi lazım. 2 yıllık zahmetli, büyük fedakarlıklar içeren bir çalışma gerçekleştirildi. Türk Devletleri Teşkilatı, Genel Sekreterlik ve ekibi, Türk Akademisi, Türk Dil Kurumu, Atatürk Kültür, Dil, Tarih Kurumu ve bütün üye ülkelerin akademisyenleri, uzmanları bir araya geldiler çalıştılar, çabaladılar. Sonunda Latin harflerinden oluşan 34 harflik çerçeve alfabeyi ortaya çıkardılar. Burada bir sıkıntı yok. Bu konuda bütün üye devletlerin uzmanlarının mutabakatı var. Yani. Teknik çalışma tamamen bitirilmiştir. Bundan sonraki adım artık siyasi iradeye kalmıştır. Siyasi irade, ümit ederim ki Türk Dil Kurultayı'nın 100. yılında 2026'da artık bu ortak alfabe de bütün üye devletlerde resmiyet kazanır. Bazı kardeş devletlerimizde aslında eş zamanlı uygulamalar da başladı. Yani Kiril yanında Latin alfabesi de yavaş yavaş alıştırılmaya çalışılıyor. Bu güzel bir şey. Bugünden yarın olmayacağını biliyoruz. Yani 76 yıllık bir boşluğu 3-5 yılda tamamlanmasını beklemiyoruz. Ama başlamak bitirmenin yarısıdır. O bakımdan biz bunu geçen yıl Kasım ayında yapılan zirvede liderlere sunduk. Burada da güzel kabul gördü. Bundan sonrası artık her üye ülkemizin kendi alacağı kararlara, yapacağı eylemlere bağlıdır. İşin zor kısmı geride kalmıştır. Bundan sonrası artık irade kullanma, inisiyatif kullanma ve tamam kardeşim biz şu takvim göre bu geçişi gerçekleştireceğiz. Bu niye önemli? Yani bu işin alfabesi, ABC'si olmazsa olmazı. Yani biz niye İngilizce ile üzerinden anlaşalım? Niye bir başka dil üzerinden anlaşalım? Birbirimizle doğrudan iletişim kurmamız lazım. Eğer bu Türk Birliği ise, Türk Birliği olarak da hem bölgesel hem küresel büyük hedeflerimiz varsa, burada yapmamız gereken önce ortak değerlerimizi ön plana çıkarmak, ayrışma noktalarını ortadan kaldırmak. Ayrışacak bir noktamız da yok. Geriye gittiğimiz zaman Altaylardan, Baykal'dan, Balkanlara kadar 3000, 5000 yıllık belki daha eskiler ortaya çıkmadı. Bir ortak tarihimiz var. İsimlerimiz farklı olmuş. Farklı boylara ayrılmışız ama benliğimiz, özümüz hep aynı kalmış. 90'lı yılların başında, o yıllarda liderlerimiz, Türkiye'deki liderlerin ön ayak olmasıyla Türk devletlerinin bir araya gelmesi, birlikte bir şeyler yapması fikri ön plana çıkmış ve 2009'da da bu ete kemiğe bürünmüş. Nasıl olmuş? Nahçıvan Anlaşması'yla birlikte Türk Konseyi, Türk Keneşi vakit geçtiyse bırakayım.
Geçmek üzere. Yani
öyle mi? Tamam, o zaman bırakayım. Sadece birkaç cümleyle tamamlayayım. Aslında yapılması gerekenleri de anlatmak istiyorum. Daha oraya gelmedik. Neyse, onu farklı vesilelerle anlatırız. Buradan nereye? Bugün Cuma da yok. Herkes buradan.
Evet, herkes.
Uzatsan ne olur hocam?
Biraz uzatalım.
Tamam yani. Yemek vakti de değil. Eğer sıkıldıysanız bırakın. Efendim, şimdi Türk Devletleri Teşkilatı'nı sadece ritorik olarak söylemek yetmiyor. Az önce Genel Sekreterimiz ifade etti. 1 trilyona yakın ticaret var. İş ticaret, ihracat, ithalat. Bunun 50 milyarını ancak kendi aramızda yapıyoruz. Yani ürettiğimiz refah, zenginliği başkalarına ikram ediyoruz. Bu bir sorun. Bunu ortadan kaldırmamız lazım. Öyle %10'a çıkarma falan değil. Avrupa Birliği'ne bakın. Avrupa Birliği bugün %70'in üzerinde ticaretini hocam kendi arasında yapıyor. Bunun yolu ne? Bunun yolu mevzuatı uyumlu hale getirmek. Bir tır sürücüsü kapıdan içeri girmek için 2,5 saat beklerse bu iş olmaz. Buradan çıktığı zaman Macaristan'dan soluğu ta Fergana Ovası'nda almalı. Selam verip geçmeli. Ancak böyle olur. Bunu yapmazsak bu dediğimiz hedefleri gerçekleştiremeyiz. Yani 1,5 trilyon üzerinde bir GDP'miz var, gayri safi hasılamız var. Daha da büyüyecek. Yani dünyanın 10 küresel ekonomisinden birisi Türk Devletleri ama potansiyeli daha yüksek. Doğalgaza bakıyoruz. Bir üyemiz Türkmenistan dünyada doğalgazda 4. geliyor. Kazakistan, Azerbaycan hidrokarbonlar konusunda dünya, Avrupa buralara bağlı. Nadir elementlerde bu coğrafyanın üzerine bir coğrafya yok. Yani her şeyimiz var ama küçük işlerde maalesef bocalıyoruz. Bunun için yapılması gereken dil birliğinden sonra şimdi bir ortak tarih çalışması başlattık. Yine burada Türk Akademisi de var. Türk Devletleri Teşkilatı Sekreteryası var. Üniversite hocaları var. Türk Tarih Kurumu var. Bir kere ortak tarih bilincini de ortaya çıkarmamız lazım. Adım adım gençler, sevinerek şunu ifade etmek istiyorum. Genç kuşakların birbiriyle kaynaşma arzusu bizden daha fazla. En güzel iş bu. Yani bugün Türk devletlerinden 25.000 civarında üniversite değişim öğrencisi var. Bunu pekala 100.000'e çıkarabiliriz. Yani bunlar mümkün. Bunun gibi birçok öneri var elimizde. Zamanı zorlamak istemiyorum.
Sağ olun.
Diğer arkadaşlara da fırsat vermek istiyorum.
Vaktimiz olursa soracağım.
Yani neticede söylemek istediğim şudur. Şimdi Türk devletlerinin birlikleriyle ilgili neredeyiz dersen, denize girdik ya, bileklerimize kadar ancak ıslandı vücudumuz. Yani daha gidecek çok yolumuz var. Önümüzdeki Mayıs ayının başında Aksakallar Konseyi olarak Kuzey Kıbrıs Türk Cumhuriyeti'nde toplantı yapacağız. Bunun çok anlamlı olduğunu ifade etmek istiyorum. Gerçi bu son yaşananlardan önce alınmış bir karardı ve orada bir araya geleceğiz ve bütün dünyaya bu birliğin ne kadar uyumlu, ne kadar samimi olduğunu, buradaki birlikteki bir takım kafa karıştırmaya çalışanlara en güzel cevabı vermiş olacağız. Teşekkür ederim.
Çok teşekkürler. Tabii konuşmanız bana bir önemli hakikati de hatırlattı. 1926 yılında Bakü'de toplanan Türkoloji Kongresi. O kongrede bütün Türk halklarının, yani buna şu anda bağımsız olmayanlar da dahil, Latin alfabesine geçilmesi kararı alınmıştı ki ardından Türkiye ondan bir yıl sonra Latin'e geçti. Aslında Türkiye'nin Latin alfabesine geçişi Azerbaycan, Kazakistan, Özbekistan, Kırgızistan'la beraber oldu, Türkmenistan'la beraber. Onlar 1936'ya kadar devam ettiler. Dediğiniz gibi Stalin o 10 yıldan memnun kalmadı. Evet. Evet ama yani bizim ortak alınmış bir kararımızdı. Bundan tam 100 sene önce Sayın Başbakanım. Çok teşekkürler katkılarınız için. Our third speaker is His Excellency Sadık Safayev, First Deputy Chairman of the Senate of the Ali Meclis of Uzbekistan, and he's one of the leading and most notable diplomats of the country, and he's also a rector of the University of World Economy and Diplomacy. My question to you, Your Excellency Sadık Salihovic, as geopolitical rivalries intensify, how feasible is it for the Turkic states to coordinate a shared foreign policy agenda, especially in the greater international platforms, on key global issues, as parliamentary diplomacy becomes increasingly important in shaping regional cooperation? How can the legislative bodies of Turkic states contribute more effectively to deepening integration and aligning national legislations in areas such as trade, connectivity, and cultural exchange? The floor is yours.
Hurmatli janob moderator, janob elchilar, xonimlar va janoblar, men juda xursandman bu yerda bo'lishdan. Tushunishimcha bu yerda o'zbek tilidan boshqa tillarga tarjima yo'q, shuning uchun tarjimonlarni qiynamasligi uchun ingliz tilida javobni davom ettiraman. Assalomu alaykum hammaga. So it's my honor to be here in this wonderful panel addressing very important issue, the essence and meanings of activity of Organization of Turkic States. I think that we all agree, and Mr. Moderator, you very eloquently described modern world as full of many challenges. Some academicians even define modern world as a time of polycrisis, simultaneous occurrence of several catastrophic events, ecological catastrophe, bloody conflicts, organized crime. And I think that forming of organization of Turkic state was a collective response of our nations to the challenges of contemporary world. It was an attempt to form platform not only for discussions, but for real actions to confront the challenges we all facing with. Deep analysis of what's going on in contemporary world demonstrates that the main important deficit is a deficit of trust and mutual understanding. And I think that Organization of Turkic State demonstrates vision in addressing this issue. You know that it's a unique organization which was formed initially not due to the facilitating or enhancing trade, economic cooperation. From the beginning, it was an organization based on common culture, common vision, and common shared values. And this is most substantial and tangible ingredient of bringing peoples together. Economy will come, definitely. Trade will come. But the first, what we need is a mutual understanding, shared values, and shared principles. And I think Organization of Turkic States demonstrate to the whole world that it's possible in this time also to form such kind of a unique organization. And I think that we should, of course, look to the past. Studying history is a key to understanding contemporary world and to comprehend the future. But at the same time, and Secretary General of this organization, Tanzbek Kasimovic, very well described that we should not only look to the past, but we should try to be in accordance with the dynamically developing world. We are living in a beginning of fourth industrial revolution, and Organization of Turkic States also should understand that it will transform everything, society, economy, way of thinking, and we also must be in line with this dynamic transformation. I think that very important moment and issue to address to is a connectivity. So far it was main impediment for Organization of Turkic States to be strong and consolidated. What we just discussed now, the alphabet is also about connectivity. But even more important is a transportation which will bring us all together. All in all, I think that the role of Organization of Turkic States as a platform for consolidating nations with shared vision, shared value is very important. And today, as you said, parliamentarians can and should be more active because they are representing people, they are representing the will and expectations, hopes of the respective nations, and it's also important they are in charge for forming legal platform of our cooperation in many fields, ratifying agreements, harmonizing the domestic laws, which will, of course, definitely will strengthen our cooperation. All in all, I'd like, in the end of this intervention, to bring you the commitment of Uzbekistan, President Mirziyoyev, to be active part of this organization and to contribute to the consolidation of the Turkic world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Definitely, as you said, the organization of Turkic States is a unique regional cooperation model which was based on the very idea of mutual respect and equal relations, equal standing, equal engagement in all respects, irrespective of the populations, economy, and anything else. But this equality and mutual respect is one of the major principles of the organization. Our fourth speaker is His Excellency Aseyn Isayev, the first Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Kyrgyz Republic and Special Representative of the President, a career diplomat. Your Excellency Aseyn Hüseynovich, my question directed to you is that how can the organization of Turkic States enhance its geopolitical relevance and becoming a more stabilizing force in an increasingly polarized international environment? What kind of lessons from the 11th summit in Bishkek, which you played a major role, can guide future strategic initiatives? And as Kyrgyz Republic holds the current chairmanship of the OTS, what are the core priorities and initiatives your side envisions to strengthen the unity and influence of the Turkic world? The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. The question is very difficult.
It is quite long.
I think it's very difficult to answer, and we should do, like today's format, some kind of brainstorm, and it will be easier because of here in this hall, so grants, Your Excellency Yildirim here, and Mr. Safayev is here, and you are very famous academicians and Secretary General here, and I can see this auditorium and so much very clever people here. So I hope everybody could participate in this discussion. And just yesterday, when I think about these questions I have received yesterday, my ambassador, Kyrgyz ambassador in Turkey, Ruslan Kazakbayev, told me one thing. Every morning he can see word of Atatürk. One Turk citizen asked Atatürk, what I can do for this nation, for this state to develop, to stabilize. And Atatürk answered, you should do properly your own job very good. This is a way you can do your best to develop your country. And my answer, similar to your question, we do enhance our mutual cooperation inside of OTC, as Mr. Alderim and Mr. Safayev said about it. And this could be good input for the international areas. Authority and power of OTC now is growing up. By our job, we can visit different cities, different capitals, and you see some of our friends which are not member of OTC ask us, what is OTC? What are you doing well? And little bit fair, little bit, what is it? They are so close, so integrated, so dynamic. What kind of cooperation? Different cooperation. What's going on? What's your purpose? And my answer, our answer as a Kyrgyz diplomat for this question, we are not going to fear anybody. We are not some kind of military bloc, or we are not going to impose our some special values for international affairs. Our values is similar as common values. This is our input to the international affairs, and definitely all it was expressed yesterday's speech, His Excellency President Erdogan, when he given his speech, and like this speech could be only, I hope, here in this place, in Anadolu, because of this place so convenient and comfortable to deliver like this speech, because it's translated. Yesterday when we met some of different representatives of different parts, what's the time? Anatolia. It's placed in front of a leg of your mother. So it's peaceful, it's kindness, it's policy of OTC. It was our answer. If possible, it's my answer for this question. And second one, we have very short time. Here is answer other speakers. And Bishkek summit, all these principles was included our declaration, and it was leadership by our president, and some of priorities about green Turkic world, digital economy. All 4 priorities was done very clearly in a declaration of Bishkek summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You very well underlined the fact that OTS is not a product of any reaction. So it's not against anybody, but it's against only to poverty, to conflict, and it is actually one of the most inclusive and cooperative organizations all over the world in that respect. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is His Excellency Mr. Elchin Amirbayov, Ambassador and Representative of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan on special assignments. Elchin Oktabiroğlu, I'm directing you a very brief question, but you are free to intervene on your behalf on other topics as well. How can the OTS further leverage regional infrastructure projects, especially Zengezur Corridor and Caspian energy roads, to enhance economic resilience and energy security across the Turkic world and across for the greater regional neighbors? And additionally, as Azerbaijan prepares to host the next OTS summit, what key priorities or strategic directions will Azerbaijan propose to advance integration and cooperation among the member states of OTS? Thank you.
Hasan Ali Bey, çok sağ olun. İlk evvel davetinize göre, bu müzakerəni təşkil ettiğinize göre minnətdarlığımı bildirmək istərdim. Genel olarak kardeş Türkiye'ni bu 4. Antalya Diplomatik Forumun bu cür yüksek seviyede təşkil ettiğinize göre tebrik edirəm və foruma, onun gələcək fəaliyyətində yeni uğurlar dilirəm. Sualınızı İngilizce verdiğinize göre ben icazənizlə İngiliz dilində cavab verərəm. Excellencies, dear participants, dear members of Milli Meclis, dear friends, the issue of connectivity and improving the critical infrastructure within the Turkic world is one of the priorities of practical cooperation. I think that we should agree that the Turkic world, due to its critical geostrategic location at the crossroads of East and West, is already considered to be a global connectivity hub. So, of course, to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of the infrastructure, it will increase the regional resilience of these countries, but also it will elevate the geo-economic and geopolitical significance of our organization. Azerbaijan, profiting from its crucial geo-economic and geographical location, its strategic autonomy, and already existent critical infrastructure in terms of transportation, is already playing a linchpin role in this East-West connection. As you know, we already are the country, together with our friends from Central Asia and from Turkey, who are operating the middle corridor. So the middle corridor that you refer to already is in full function. It unites East Asia with Western Europe through Central Asia, South Caucasus, and in South Caucasus it passes through Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey. But of course, it could be even further increased if the so-called Zangezur corridor could be put into efficient practice, because we're talking about a 43-kilometer long railroad, which still has to be constructed, but which can be a real game changer in the region, because it will allow us to increase the transmission capacity of this east-west middle corridor, otherwise known as Trans-Caspian Transportation Corridor, to 10 to 12 million tons per year. So it's a significant addition. Besides purely commercial and trade significance, I think Zangezur corridor could also be seen as an important confidence-building measure in the region, because it is also one of the elements of the ongoing normalization process between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So it's a good chance for Armenia, which is in complete economic isolation today, to be part of the region, but also to help increase the strategic importance of this region. Now, with regard to other projects which are about energy, of course, we have to speak about already existing critical infrastructure like BTC, Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan, like Southern Gas Corridor. But I think it's very important that our countries also think seriously about diversifying the energy portfolio. So we are talking about new green corridors of energy, which are uniting Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Azerbaijan, which are uniting Caspian Sea, Black Sea, and Europe, which are uniting Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Europe. So I think that by heavily engaging in producing clean green energy, we will, of course, increase the resilience and geoeconomic importance of our region even further. In a couple of words about your second question, of course, Azerbaijan is considering OTS as its natural family, as President Ilham Aliyev said. So, of course, this is one of our key foreign policy priorities. And we want, with all the successes that our colleagues have just enumerated, I think we need to do more in order to increase and strengthen the agency of this organization. I mean, its capacity to influence the geopolitical processes in a broader Eurasian continent. We need to be more consolidated, more goal-oriented. We need to be more visible. And I think that we have to increase the sense of ownership over this big geography which unites our countries in Central Asia, in South Caucasus, but also in Turkey, so that the country could indeed celebrate its complete transition from just a cultural or linguistic club into an important geopolitical player. And I'm happy that since the inception of this organization in 2009 in Nakhchivan, we have come a long way. And I think that all these issues will be dealt with in great detail in the forthcoming 12th Summit of Heads of State and Government of OTS, which Azerbaijan will proudly host in October this year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful intervention. Actually, in all international platforms, we see a great effort towards green transition, digitalization, and it's quite delightful to see that OTS is one of those leading international organizations which transformed itself into the global agenda in that respect. And with the words of a famous Turkish poet, the Turkic integration, whether or not we work very hard or less, it's kind of a natural stream of little creeks which will form a great river at the end. So the only thing we can do is to support it and get much promotion from that. Well, our last speaker, and I will try to get some questions because we don't have a limitation for this panel. Our last speaker is His Excellency Marat Karabayev, Minister of Transport of the Republic of Kazakhstan. He is the leading figure in Central Asia in transport matters, but also logistic matters. And he has a full record of transforming Kazakhstan's logistics and transport infrastructure within the last 3 years. Your Excellency, Marat Karimjanovic, my question directed to you is that in a world of disrupted supply chains and growing competition for new transit corridors, how can the OTS unlock the full potential of the middle corridor? What kind of investments or policies are needed to position the Turkic region as a global logistics hub? Thank you.
Many thanks to your question. Well, first of all, I would like to thank OTS for organizing this special roundtable, and also I would like to thank Turkey for the hospitality that we are given today, starting up from tomorrow, and I would like to deliver our sincere appreciation of the things that we are given here today. Well, before answering your question, I'll just try to give a couple of the figures on regard the middle corridor. What is middle corridor? If we look in 2021, the goods turnover, the volume of goods being transported through the Trans-Caspian International Transport Corridor used to be 800,000 tons. And last year, in 2024, it ended up with 2.5 million tons. So for 3 years, there is a growth of 7 times. So it again shows the importance and the potential of this corridor. And I believe that by 2027, our target is to hit 10 million tons. And by 2030, it is possible to hit 15, even more. That's the first thing. The second issue is, today, Trans-Caspian Corridor, it's not the issue or the topic of the only transport. The new ideas that are under discussion or under construction, these are the 3 additional topics. Yeah? One is we started this year construction of the fiber optical through the Caspian Sea. And then Azerbaijan has started, is supposed to start construction of fiber optical through the Black Sea, among with Georgia. So that is one of the, in addition to the transport issues, there is a new way has been added, that's a digital issue, fiber optical. That's one issue. Second issue is Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan, they came up with one idea to put a cable through the Caspian Sea in order to export the renewable energy being produced in our countries to Europe. That's a new idea that is under discussion right now. We know that only Kazakhstan is now today producing 2.7 gigawatts of electricity, renewable energy, and our potential, the new project, extra 8 gigawatts, and these should be transported to Europe. That is number 2, additional to Trans-Caspian Road. So, and number 3, we started a big project in the west part of Kazakhstan. That's a production of hydrogen with a total capacity of 2 million tons of hydrogen, which 40 gigawatts of electricity with an investment of 50 billion euros. That's starting up, first hydrogen being given by 2030. So if we consider everything, so Trans-Caspian Road, it's not an issue of the transportation, it's kind of corridor consisting of the digitalization, consisting of renewable energy, and I would call this as a green corridor between Asia and Europe. That's the general idea of the Trans-Caspian corridor. Well, what is the aim? As our President, His Excellency, Mr. Kassym-Jomart Tokayev put in front of our government and in front of our ministry, is to make Kazakhstan a regional hub between Asia and Europe. Of course, it is impossible without the participation of OTS countries. OTS city, in general, Turkic countries. What we are doing here, for example, with Kyrgyzstan, we are now increasing the number of our border controls. One issue. Second issue, we are implementing with Kyrgyzstan the digitalization of giving the special licenses. The same is doing with Uzbekistan. And in addition to this, we are basically, today it was mentioned that if the car is waiting on the border, the car will not wait on the border. With Uzbekistan, we have already implemented this digitalization of the license giving issue. With Uzbekistan, we are also constructing the new extra number 3 railway connection called Darbaza-Maktaral. That gives us, if today capacity of the railway connection with Uzbekistan is 40 million tons, that will give us extra 20 million tons. That's another issue. And of course, with Azerbaijan and Turkey, we signed a roadmap that aims on eliminating bottlenecks in order to increase the capacity of the middle corridor up to 10 million. And every country is doing their own infrastructure project within the country in order to make this plan possible. With regard to Kazakhstan, we are these days investing $8 billion on our infrastructure. We are constructing 2,000 kilometers of new roads and 2,000 kilometers of new railway roads. That's a huge investment that's being done to our infrastructure. For example, vessels. We have, as a Kazakhstan, now 17 vessels on the Caspian Sea. Now we contracted extra 17. On top of that 17 that we have, extra 17 vessels. Among them, 6 is to be brought this year. So these are the new projects that we have here. Of course, there are many hard measures and soft measures, and these projects with OTS countries and also within the Kazakhstan will help us, and we are sure that that will help us to increase the capacity and to stabilize the volume through the Trans-Caspian and to hit by 2030 15 million tons, which is the aim of Kazakhstan and of course the aim of OTC member countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, we are done with our time, and within an hour, Mr. Sergei Lavrov is delivering his speech in this very room. But we have few minutes. I mean, if you can stay with us, we can get 2-3 questions directed to the speakers or to the floor. Yes, lady.
Thank you. I respectfully thank you for your presence and valuable insights. My name is Polen. I'm a PhD candidate in international commercial law. International arbitration has gained a prominent position, especially in recent years, in resolving cross-border disputes. In light of growing trade cooperation and commercial and investment activities between real persons and businesses between member states, does the organization consider establishing of a joint arbitration center for the Turkic States and also a common mediation mechanism in order to solve the disputes arising from commercial or investment operations?
Thank you very much. I can say that you are at the very middle of your PhD, so you think that what you are dealing with is the most important thing in the world, right? Okay. Okay, who would like to answer this question, sir? As Mr. Secretary General?
Yeah, we already create, not by umbrella of OTS, but is independently now is Turkic Arbitration Union already is active. It was starting in last year, so it's already we have.
No, I'm aware of the union, but I asked about the center.
Because this arbitration institute, as you know, this will be more independent. So they are independent. So in center, you mean about capital of or what is center?
So secretary or the, what do you mean by the center?
Like Istanbul Arbitration Center, like OIC has an independent arbitration center to resolve disputes between Islamic states.
Okay, will be later to provide to you more detailed information, our colleagues, okay? Will be not take time.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Just to add up, the arbitration on the conflict solving, the individual member countries already, they have the system. But if we talk about the common arbitration system, which include all member states, this will take some time. But definitely there is a will to establish this kind of institution which serve for all members and all countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question? Yes, sir.
Thank you for giving me the chance. I have two short, brief questions. I hope I can ask that to Mr.
One question. Huh?
Okay, four.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to ask this to Mr. Karabayev. I'm going to ask the role of Organization of Turkic States on the Belt and Road Initiative of People's Republic of China. Thank you.
Well, I didn't mention that, but if you think about the role on the Belt and Road project, as you remember, I have tried to explain that we are becoming kind of the bridge between Asia and Europe. So from that perspective, I suppose that all the projects that we have, I mean OTS countries that we are doing all together, that is all focused on increasing capacity of the transport infrastructure, which is of course aimed on meeting up the growing transportation potential between Asia and Europe. Of course, mostly between China and Europe. So from that perspective, I suppose that the initiatives that we are doing within the Turkic organization countries, yeah, this is, I would say, in this way, well, the role of OTS member countries is to become kind of interconnecting between One Belt, One Road, and other projects of European countries. First of all, focused on the transport. Am I clear? Or
yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Yıldırım.
Maybe I can tell you the One Belt and One Road project is not competing our middle corridor. Actually, cooperating with the middle corridor. The middle corridor is the main route between East and West. So this is not invented right now. It's many ancient trade and everything goes through this middle road. İpek yolu, baharat yolu, kral yolu. This is what they are doing. China is one of the major exporter to European, Central Asia countries, vice versa. We have $600 billion US trade. So the most proper way, the route is middle corridor, which also coincides with the One Road, One Belt. And as it was mentioned that the capacity is not being used properly right now. It's around 2 million tons, which is too low. The nominal capacity is 30 million tons. So we have long way to go. That's why we built Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway project to complete the route continuity. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, Middle Corridor is also an integral part of the OBOR, One Belt, One Road project. But as the speakers had contributed, it is the most viable and feasible alternative compared to the northern and southern corridors right now, and we should exploit this opportunity. One last question maybe from this side of the...
Merhabalar, ismim Onur Sabırlıoğlu, Türkiye Genç Turizmciler Derneği Başkanıyım. Ben öncelikle hoş geldiniz diyorum Türkiye'ye. Ben şöyle bir konuya değineceğim. Şimdi Türk soyu var kültür tarafında ama bir turizm birliğimiz yok. Türkiye'nin çok büyük bir turizm geliri varken ne yazık ki bizim özellikle ülkemizdeki vatandaşlar Avrupa'ya çok kolay ulaşıyorken uçuşlarda, fiyatlarda biz ne yazık ki Türk dünyasındaki ülkelere ulaşırken turizmde çok zorluk yaşıyoruz. Bu kapsamda siz değerli büyüklerimizden talebimiz eğer olursa bir Türk Devletleri Turizm Birliği'nin kurulması, bununla ilgili çalışmaların yapılması. Çünkü coğrafyalara gidiyoruz, çok zenginlik var, çok güzel değerler var. Bunların milyonlarca insanın görmesi, özellikle gezen bir milletiz. Türk milleti gezmeyi seviyor, dolaşmayı seviyor. Ama bizim paramızın Binali Bey'in dediği gibi Avrupa'da değil, kendi coğrafyamızın üstüne geçmesini istiyoruz. Teşekkür ederiz.
Teşekkür ederiz. Sayın Genel Sekreter.
Kıska, bizden Turizm Bakanlar Birliği var, platformu var. Ondan sonra biz buna konuşmamda söyledim, sen mümkün geç geldin biraz dışarıdan. Bu Silk Road projemiz var, Tabruk, ziyaret, başka projelerimiz var. Sen başkalarının zamanını almayalım mı? Ben burada yardımcım var bir vakit bey. Bu 24 saat bu turizmde çalışıyor. Konuşular.
Evet, yani İpek Yolu Ortak Turizm Rotaları projesi 5 yıldır hayatta Türk Devletleri Teşkilatı'nın. Evet, değerli arkadaşlar, bir yerde bitirmemiz lazım. Belki eller yükseliyor ama biraz önce son dedik. Yavaş yavaş kapanışa geçiyorum. Ladies and gentlemen, dear panelists, as we conclude this inspiring and thought-provoking discussion, I would like to sincerely thank each of our distinguished speakers, panelists for their very valuable contributions. Today we have not only revisited the enduring ideals of unity and cooperation between our peoples within the Turkic world, but also looked boldly into the future, a future that holds immense potential for all our nations, Turkic-speaking nations. What we witnessed today is more than a conversation, it's a shared commitment in building bridges across borders, strengthening common values, and advancing a joint vision for peace, prosperity, and connectivity. The organization of Turkic States has proven itself to be a living platform, a leading international cooperation organization which is dynamic, inclusive, and forward-looking. And today's panel has reaffirmed the strategic importance of deepening this cooperation in a sustainable way. Let us carry forward the momentum of this discussion and turn our shared ideals into lasting, concrete actions more than rhetoric. I'm confident that with such a vision, leadership, and unity, the Turkic states will continue to inspire not only themselves, their own region neighbors, but global community at large. Thank you again for your presence and engagement. Let our unity in language, thought, and deed shine brighter than even. Thank you.